I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride.
Hold on, I gotta restart. I gotta find my notes for this guy. Okay, I found him.
Cole is hammered.
You have a mate today.
I'm on the mate.
Man, if there's any mate makers out there listening to this podcast right now, hit us up, dude. Both Felipe and I freaking love that stuff. We would love to rep it for you on this podcast because today I have the white man's mate, aka a monster. So I got that going for me.
They should use that for the next advertising campaign. A hundo fee. The white man's mate. Monster energy drinks.
Mate's making a huge surge, I feel like, in North America right now,
Bro,
dude. I'm seeing it TV shows, like it's popping off.
Like Clarita and I that drink it all the time. Obviously, Clarita's been drinking it since she was in the womb. Her mom used to somehow get her mates. But yeah,
through the old umbilical cord.
We see it everywhere. We see it everywhere now. All over the US, Canada, it's becoming a whole marketing thing. I think like this healthy living, like don't drink coffee, drink mate. It's becoming a wave.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I'm really excited about it, honestly, because, you know, even though these taste phenomenal, I just know I'm just pouring like organ lava into my freaking mouth and swallowing it down and just like going to my organs like, it's all you, bro. Thanks.
Isn't it so good though? Like I feel the same way. Like
it's incredible.
It tastes so good when it touches your lips, but you feel so bad drinking it. Like your brain is telling you every sip, like this is horse urine, like this is gonna kill you.
But my body's telling me, yeah.
It's almost like there's a guy with a pencil and just like a notepad in your brain, just like slashing years off your life. Like one less year, keep sipping that can, bud.
Straight up, he's just like, that's another one.
You thought you were gonna go at 75? More like 74 now after those 7 sips.
More like 69. Anyway, Felipe,
anyhow,
tell us about our guest today because you've wrangled a pretty unique character, and I'm really excited to get this guy on the horn and have a BS with him. So tell us about it.
It's going to be amazing, buddy. I'm so excited. So his videos started popping up for me this year. His name is Shane, but he also goes by Ogr Scintilla, aka Young Poutine. He's got names for days, and I found out about Shane through Instagram with the parodies he was doing. Actually, Clarita, my fiance, saw the video first, shared it with me. I think it was a barn song, the parody that we saw. And then there was Gangsta's Paradise, which is Canadian Paradise, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. He did Not Like US, Party in Canada, the Take on Party in the USA. Anyways, I lost days of my life just watching this guy's content, just dying with lines like, I jumped on a moose and I'm here for a good time. Look to my right and I see the northern lights. Cobra chickens are deadly, but everyone seems so friendly. Like, come on, this is just gold, bro. Just gold.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I feel like he is a version of us in the sense of, you know, he's taken what he's good at, writing music, making music, and just niched it way down, dude. I'm stoked to talk to him about how he's just like carved that out for himself.
100%, man. He created a niche that didn't exist, I feel like, and he wears many hats. He produces his own music. He writes it. He's the voice on it. He's doing the videos, and it's going viral. Just last year, 2024, he had over, let me get the views here. It's unbelievable, the number. When I saw one of his YouTube videos that he was talking about, I want to say 70 million views.
Whoa.
I have it in my notes here. Yeah, 78 million views in 2024. Without any further ado, let's talk to Shane, aka Young Poutine.
Young Poutine.
Hi there.
What's up, bud? Yeah. Oh, I don't think you like that, Cole.
He comes back with them.
Sorry, I'm just underdressed.
Yeah,
let's go.
Let's go, bro. Thank you so much for being on with us. It's so nice having you on the pod. I love your work. I was talking to Cole about this a little earlier on. Like the first video I saw was a barn song. That's what got me addicted to your content. I think that's one of your fastest growing reels from last year, and unbelievable, man. Congratulations on everything you're doing. Cole and I are fans of your work.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Sorry about the mix-up this morning. I saw emails from you and then I didn't see the email from Billing. So
All
That's
good,
all
all
good,
good. But
dude.
since we're all buds, I'm gonna rip you on this, bro. That is like the least Canadian thing you could have done. Like I'm
yeah,
like, this guy is so Canadian. He's gonna be 1 minute early. Watch, you're late,
that,
bro.
that's the funny thing. I had like the alarm at my phone. I went off on 10:30 and I was like, huh, no link yet. And then I checked again at like 10:55. Huh, no link. And then at like 11:05, I was like, there's no link. What's going on?
We're gonna have to go back to the old system of where I just send it to Felipe. Felipe sends it on. That'll work.
Hey, it worked, guys. We're all here. We've all convened. Thanks for being on the show. I want to start out here with the names, brother. Known as Shane, born to the name Shane, but then becomes OGR Scintilla, which is a freaking sick rapper name, aka Young Poutine. Can we break all those down? Where does
Yeah.
Shane come from? Where does OGR come from? Where does Young Poutine come from?
My real name actually has kind of a fun story. My dad's name is John, and my mom's name is Jean, and my name is Shane. And they're actually all the same name in like different, I don't know what you call like that, the history of names, but like John is English and Jean is French. It's like John, Jean, and like Sean. They're all sort of like came from the same origin, so they all have like the same meaning. So
Oh
I
my
said,
God.
yeah.
This is
Sound
funny
like an
because
Eminem rap.
yeah, it does. Well, my fiance is from Argentina and she hates the name John and Sean because it all sounds the same to her. So if she went to your house for Christmas, she would be so pissed. But
Yeah.
please continue.
So that's pretty much all for that. For OGR Scintilla, I was putting out music as Shane William Kimber for a while when I was in like college, just putting out different songs and stuff. And then I thought I want a cool name that kind of separates me from the music a little bit. So I picked Scintilla. I don't know how I stumbled across that word, but it literally just means like a small spark. It's like the sparks that come up from a campfire.
Hmm,
And I
that's
was like,
awesome.
I want to be inspiring to people, and that word sounds cool, and I want to be like that spark of inspiration that like you know, makes people want to maybe make their own song or video or just, like do something fun, enjoy their life.
That's
And
deep.
then there was already an oh buddy, put on your scuba gear because I don't know who you got on the podcast.
I'm
We're
excited.
going down. I added the OGR because there was already a scintilla on like streaming platforms because I made this little label with like me and a couple of my other friends who did music. I called it Overgrowth Renaissance. And I was like, oh, I'll add the OGR to the start. And that sort of became this whole messy name. There was a thing at the time where rappers were having really like long, weird names that were hard to memorize. So that was also like maybe sort of like a product of the times. It
Yeah.
wasn't just like the little bop or just like, just like really short, nonsensical names. It was like XXX Tentacion and Juice
Yeah.
WRLD with WRLD and like
Yeah.
all these weird names. So that was just my spin on that.
And
And then
Young Poutine, that's my favorite, man. Like, are
yeah.
you dripping? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So when I started putting out my Canadian parodies, right away people were commenting, this guy sounds like Young Gravy. And
Oh, I never heard of Young Gravy till Cole just shouted
I
him out
had to
before he came
enlighten
on.
this man.
I
I
was
had to
like,
enlighten
but
Grandpa on who Young Gravy was.
all right, sorry guys. I didn't know who Young Gravy was, but you took him to another level, adding the cheese curds and the fries. So I'm with you, but I'm way more. If I had to pick an MC name right now, like if I was gonna start rapping, I would be Young Poutine. But sorry, finish your story.
it could be old poutine. I don't know.
Oh wow, old poutine. No one wants old poutine, bro. It's got to be young poutine or no, or maybe wet poutine would work. But sorry, go ahead.
That's a lot. Um, yeah, so basically I always like when I was first posting videos, I replied to comments all the time because I like to see if I could get that person to comment back to me and sort of get to know me or just like boost engagement. So
Keeps boosting it.
whenever people said Young Gravy, I would be like, I'm not Young Gravy, I'm Young Poutine, just because it's kind of a Canadian approximation. And then it just sort of became a joke. And then one time I listed Young Poutine as a feature on a song, and then people were asking like, "Who's Young Poutine?" Like it sounds like, and then I don't know, it just kind of became. I like just making my own little inside jokes, lore, things like that.
Love it.
So yeah.
Have you, in any way, shape, or form, communicated with Monsieur Young Gravy?
No. Do you know about his sort of sidekick, Baby No Money, though?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wait, explain that to me. I have no idea about this.
speaking of fun rapper names, so Young Poutine and sorry, Young Poutine is me. Let's keep things straight. Gravy and Baby No Money are both rappers. Baby No Money is from Canada, and they sort of started making mixtapes together early on. So they're sort of like one of those unofficial duos that they're closely linked because they make a lot of music together. Sort of like a 50 Cent Eminem or something like that. They're not like a group, but they used to make music together all the time in the start or whatever. So um, Baby No Money commented on one of my Facebook posts, which is
Let's
like
go.
random because
How old's this guy? This guy's got to be over 40 if he's on Facebook.
he's like around my age, but I think he's just a chronically online like independent rapper
Oh,
who
okay.
just like nurtures his fan base a lot. And
Yeah, he's working. He's working out there. He's
yeah,
putting in the time. Yes, sir.
what did he did the silliest collaboration with I don't know. He just like collaborates with random TikTokers, not even musicians, and just like does comedy skits with TikTokers. So he's got an interesting sort of strategy.
Genius, really.
Yeah, I think that a lot of independent musicians know Baby No Money because they sort of see like, oh, he's used unique strategies to like remain relevant and get big like platinum hits. Um, I'm trying to remember if you're online much, there'd be like da 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 when I
When I
pop
drop.
and you go
That's
get
his song?
Yeah.
yeah, that's Baby No Money.
Wow, that's a huge track.
Yeah, like, so he's got like some massive hits sort of thing. And
Wow.
but he's not a label artist that I know of, so he's not on the face of like he'll not be on the radio or these other like music award shows because that's all just labels putting their artists into these big media outlets to sort of get their face out there. So,
Right.
but that's why he's using like he's a man of the people, I guess you could call it.
That is
Always hustling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome how like the internet has, I mean, it opened up a whole new avenue for artists, right? Where back in the day, it was the cookie cutter system. You had to get the label to buy you out to, make you an artist. And now you can break that. And we're seeing that through you, everything you've done. You got millions of views. I want to talk a little bit about break it down to the beginning. I know you live on a farm in Alberta, which is awesome. First of all, there's a hat. There's a tip. Only a man who lives on a farm can tip his hat like that. Okay. Tell us about. Do you have like? Is there a rodeo background to you? Like, what do you guys farm? Give us a little Shane as a child growing up in Alberta.
We have like about 200 cattle. Like we're a full beef ranch sort of thing.
That's amazing, bro.
I'm not like, I mean, I don't do like competitive rodeo at all. I mean, we do a lot of like just getting in cows and like
The real rodeo where it all began.
we don't really do roping or horses on our farm. We're more like quads and like just like gates and things like that. I don't know if you know what I mean, but
Yeah, I
like
totally know what you mean, man.
About
some
that
people
brat
are
life.
full in, like a lot of our neighbors are full in, like not only roping on the farm, but also like team roping events
Yeah.
and that.
Where in
So,
Alberta are you? Sorry.
yeah. I am near Oyen, Alberta. So
yeah.
that's like halfway between Calgary and Saskatoon is what I tell people. Near
Yeah.
the Saskatchewan border, almost very, very middle of nowhere.
Very middle of nowhere. So how does a guy that is born on a beef ranch, right,
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere in Alberta and Canada, if you really want to put it on a map, how do you become a musician and a social media star? Like, that's so awesome to me that you're able to do that, because oftentimes people think you got to live in New York or Toronto or, yada, 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 but you're doing it, man. That's so awesome. How did that start?
So it started when I was pretty young. I was like 12, and just through like my school, we had like a triple grade, grade 7, 8, 9, and that was like 15 kids in the triple grades. It's just this tiny school. So they decided they didn't have a band teacher or anything. They were going to get a guitar teacher in like twice a week or whatever, and we'd all learn guitar. And they got this guy named Mike O'Hara from Hannah, and he taught Nickelback guitar lessons.
Let's go.
Yes. That
So
is
like I
awesome.
was taking guitar lessons and just like we all got really into guitar. It was weird. Like junior high boys, it's weird. Like most of the time you don't expect them to all like get into something put on by the school. But we were all, I specifically remember just like sitting in the computer room quoting Family Guy back and forth to each other because that's like what junior high boys do, and just like talking about what songs we wanted to learn on guitar. And we all like got guitars for Christmas, and it just culturally was sort of this. I got swept up into it, and then I personally
Did you
got
say
really
cult
into
or culturally?
culture. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Um, No, it's all good. I was trying to think of a way to weave in this really funny quote from Creed from The Office, where he's like, so he's talking about cults, and he's just like, "You make more money as a leader, but you have more fun as a follower." It's just like this really. I've been in lots of
Until you
cults.
drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I've been in lots of cults, both as a leader and a follower. Make more money as a leader, but have way more fun as a follower. It's random. I don't know. But yeah, took lessons. I got really into songwriting and I just like it just clicked for me. I don't really have a reason or an explanation as to why I love writing songs so much. I think it was something for I think I have a hyperactive brain and it was something for my brain to latch on to just like if I'm ever bored, I can just start writing songs about whatever is happening because I think I probably have like ADHD or something like that.
We all do, bro.
Lots of times the world's moving too slow for my taste, and I'm just like, ugh, what? Like I need something to occupy my thoughts. But I don't think that's fully it. But that's kind of like a way you could one perspective of looking at just why for me songwriting just I do it every day. Like I'm always writing songs. I like it.
So when did you start writing songs, you learn a guitar at a young age. When did the shift happen where you're like, oh, I can start making music about basically just being a goofy Canadian, and just the shit we do and deal with and get into and all the things that people say about us. When did that shift happen?
I was out of university at that point, and I had decided when I got out of university, because I'd been sort of like making beats and producing for other artists as well as releasing my own music, but never really putting out on like iTunes or anything like that. Just wanting to do it because I like to do it. I didn't really necessarily want to make money off of it. I didn't even know how to yet. And then I just made this switch where I was like, I want this to be my career. This is all that I really want to do. So let me figure out how. And then I started doing covers and my own original music and then these parodies because it was just sort of like, I mean, I was sitting here one day thinking, what am I going to possibly film? Like, what can I
So
do?
bad.
Like, I live in the middle of nowhere and I have nothing. And I was like, oh, I'll go in the snow and I can make a song about the snow because, like, that's relatable. Like, it's so cold right now. Everyone's just talking about how cold it is in Canada. And so basically, the first one I did got a bunch of like views and I instantly started gaining followers. So I
Was
thought,
that first song the one that you did on TikTok that you got like 40,000 followers in 3 days?
yeah.
Wow.
What was that like? You go to sleep, basically you go to sleep, you got whatever, 1,000 followers, you wake up, you got 41,000.
It kind of did like a little bit of a curve. So it was like, oh, this is a good one. I got like, you know, I think I had 3,000, 4,000 followers. And I was like, whoa, I went up to like 6,000 followers. What a great video. And then I was going to Calgary. I don't remember why, but I was just like sort of driving, got there, and it was like 20,000 followers. And I was like, okay, this is the thing about that was like, if you've never gone viral before, and I feel like it was a little bit harder to go viral in the past. Like it seems like nowadays everyone's posted a video that got a million views.
Oh, my aunt got 1 million views. Like, for God's sakes, like the world's gonna end soon.
But like I was like an MSN Messenger kid and
Yeah.
a Facebook
Yeah.
kid. So like I'm like
ICQ, bro. Wait. How old are you? How old are you?
29.
Oh, yeah,
29.
okay. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I would post a status and get 60 likes on Facebook and be like, yeah, like that was a big one, you know? So I didn't I didn't know if it was actually true that people could just go viral. Some part of me thought that it was all like, labels boosting videos and like you could go viral, but it was so unlikely that like why would you even try? So at this point I was just sort of testing that like is it even possible to actually go viral? And then this like did what I would consider at the time going viral and I was like, "Whoa. You can just put out something that people like and then they're like, yeah, this guy, we want more from
Hmm.
him, you know?"
Hmm.
And luckily I just um sort of stuck with it and like put a lot of thought into that's when around the time I came up with the greatest rapper in Canada and sort of started trying to figure out how to brand myself in that way so that people wouldn't just forget it because so many people make a really funny awesome video but then just are immediately forgotten like how many thousands of times have I swiped to something and thought oh that's so funny and then never looked at their page again.
That's a really good point. Like, not only do you have to go viral, but you have to take advantage of that moment, which is literally your 15 minutes of fame, if not less today. It's your 3 seconds of fame, and you have to capitalize on it. And I think someone that did a really good job on this is the Hawk Tua girl. The Hawk Tua girl, like as garbage as that is, and it just shows us the kind of world we're living in today so perfectly. That case, she capitalized on it. She could have just been forgotten a couple weeks later, but she's got her podcast, she's got her clothing line out, she got the Bitcoin, which she may go to jail for. But you've done an amazing job of that, right? Like you went viral that first time and realized you could, but then you turned it into a business. And talk to us about this past year. You worked with Tim Hortons, McDonald's, you've worked at the NHL, you're working with these huge brands. When did that shift take place?
Well, that's one thing is like with I think that there's lots of people who like fly high and burn out really fast. And I'm not saying that will happen for the Hawk Tour girl, even though we don't know her name and we call her the Hawk Tour girl.
That is her name, bro.
Um, and I've seen that with a lot of people. And from the start, I sort of knew just talking to myself that I do not want to bring in a bunch of people and try to capitalize on that financially immediately because that just wouldn't, like, even if it did work, that wouldn't be what I would prefer. I would like to actually get to know these people. And like, for me, like I said, I made music for a long time without any desire to make money. I wanted people to hear my music because I felt like I could say something that might be inspiring or perspective shifting for people. And now I make songs about playing hockey.
Yeah.
But
But it's still inspiring to people, and it is bringing happiness to people and release and so many other things, right?
absolutely
So
the amount
I
of young people that have been like, I want to make a song because I heard your song. I'm like, perfect.
100%. Or I
And
was having a bad day and having suicidal thoughts, and now I'm thinking about something else, right? Like you will never be
true.
able to quantify the power and the light you're bringing to people's lives. But I love what you said right now about, and you've said it before, about how you just wanted to make music. This was your passion. You wanted to make people happy. You never thought about the money. You never thought about working with the NHL or McDonald's or having millions of views. And that's
Mhm.
what it's all about. I find so many people today just want to be famous for being famous because that's the way the society we've created, right? Like it's never about anything pure or real or a passion. And that's why it's worked out for you.
It kind of blows my mind, honestly, just how like hook, line, and sinker so many people are for that. Because like I really am a hick. Like I
You're
grew
from
up listening to
Oyen.
all kinds of music and stuff. But like when people talked about wanting to buy a really expensive car or whatever, and like all these things in that are in pop culture, I always just assume like these just must be like cautionary tales because where I'm from, like if you've got two dimes to rub together, you like bury them in a jar in the backyard. Like people are just cheap here. Like people, it's like, is it contributing to the farm? Like, or is it absolutely essential? Like I've got neighbors who like own all this land and cattle and they still are eating like Campbell's like tomato soup from the can and like like would drive an extra 10 minutes to save like $5 on groceries. Like that's
Yeah.
just mindset here. So the idea of like that frivolity is crazy. But at the same time I'm realizing okay, I don't have to like be a survivalist hillbilly like my whole life. I can buy a new pair of underwear if the old ones have holes in them. So
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I got a question for you because, like you said, you, deep down, you're a hick. Where you are, you're surrounded by hicks. I deal with this mentally all the time. Like when I go out to the yard to film, and one of the spots I film all the time is right by the trailer. I get the tack room door open. I got horses saddled, tied up all around. I run these skits. But sometimes, dude, I'm in a freaking hot rodeo dad shirt with something in there to give me breasts and a towel underneath my hat, pretending to be a psycho barrel racer. And my dad goes by on the tractor and looks at me like, "What the
where did I
hell
go wrong?
have I put on this planet?" So like,
feel
have
you,
you dealt with that at all, dude? Now that you've switched to like the comedic side of writing and you're making your own music videos and you are up there being goofy, Billy, being Canadian and silly, like do you
Yeah.
ever struggle with that or is that just me?
Um, I mean, to be totally honest, once you start to be successful with it, it's a lot easier to just be like,
Oh
"Hey,
yeah.
Dad, I'm making money." Like,
Yeah, that's so
like,
true,
like
right?
go buy
Like
my snowmobile sort of thing. Like I'd be lying if I said that element didn't take off the social pressure because I think that in these small town communities, the reality is that people value like a hardworking man who's making money, and if you're
And
not.
everyone cares so much about everyone else's lives, right? Which is the other part.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's definitely not always easy. Like I go to curling bonspiels in the winter a lot, and there's like people who always want
Wait. What is this?
a curling bonspiel. Do you
What's a
know what the word
bonspiel?
Is Bondsbeal an English word?
bonspiel? I don't know where it came from, but it just means curling tournament.
Oh my god, I love this. A curling Bondsbeal.
Bonspiel.
Bonspiel. That is
Yeah.
amazing. I've never heard this in my life. I'm new to Alberta.
Interessante.
I'm originally from Brazil, so I apologize, Shane. But sorry, continue. So you're at the tournament, the curling tournament.
Yeah, and people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I saw that video you did about Canada Post," or like, "There's a kid who's like, 'Will you sign my phone case?'" And I do feel a little bit like, um, it's a little bit strange where people are like, it's new, and sometimes to go back to your question, I think that people are both intrigued and excited, as well as confused and a little bit scared. And I think you could say that about most people who are doing something a little bit different. The thing I wanted to say, though, is that the original Cowboys were not like, I want to wear a cowboy hat and like do this and that. It's like these were kind of like the weirdos who
Yeah.
couldn't live in the city with the rest of the people. So they're just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride this horse into this like literally the desert where
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to survive because I just like need to do my own thing so
Yeah.
bad that like I just can't tolerate being around this society where I have to fit in. So to me, it's
Yeah.
like sometimes I think of um like I see somebody today who's maybe got like, like in a small town, if somebody dyes their hair pink and has a bunch of tattoos and everyone's looking at them, like that's a cowboy. That's like
Yeah.
the
The
equivalent of
renegades,
It's a
the
cool
cowboys,
perspective
the
right there.
surfers,
Absolutely.
the skaters,
Yeah.
the guy who invented light. Like, think about it. If you're not dreaming too big, like if your dreams aren't scaring people, I love this line. If your dreams aren't scaring people, you're not dreaming too big. I think all the greats that were like, "Yo, I'm gonna shoot a basketball into this box of apples, and one day they'll create the NBA." Like that's all the greats were called crazy when they started. But being from a small town myself and totally understanding what Cole's talking about, like I went all in on this thing, right? Like I'm gonna cross the Americas on horseback. It could have gone wrong a million times. People call me crazy when I started. Like people called my mom. I was like, "Yo, like is Felipe using drugs? Like help him out. He's throwing his life in the garbage." Did you have any experiences like that, Shane? Like being from the small town, did you hear the whispers in the background? Like, yo, Shane's using heroin. Like he thinks he's like, did that ever affect you or no, it never got that bad?
No, everybody, I was very open with my heroin use. No, I'm just kidding.
That was great.
That started way earlier than
That
the
was
music.
great.
No, I'm just kidding.
Little needle. You gotta add that to the
Little
list.
needle.
No, absolutely zero heroin. I'm a sheltered boy.
Yeah, we're definitely cutting out the part where you say zero heroin and just this is clickbait, bro. You know what it's like. You're not an addict.
Yeah. It's like one of those YouTube thumbnails where the people are like, oh, and like,
Yeah.
Young
Oh, dear,
Poutine on
heroin.
heroin.
Yo, but honestly, talk about your addiction. I would say, was it an addiction when you started playing? What is the Guitar Hero? Is that what it's called?
Um, I Guitar Hero, the one with the buttons.
Yeah, but you had the mic. You started using the
Right. So when
Rock Band. Is that what it's called?
yeah, Rock Band, there's the drums and then there's
Yeah.
the singing and then there's the guitars.
I love this story because so many times I meet people that are like, man, I need this, I need that, I need
Yeah.
A, B, C, D to get started. I need the best equipment, I need the
Mhm.
best horse, whatever. And I really believe in just making it happen with what you have. And in
Yeah.
the end, it will all work out. So tell us that story. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah, there's this unique quality to like being oblivious that gives you like a superpower.
Yeah.
Where when I was young, I was like, I want to record myself playing my instruments. And I was like, okay, what can I use? I literally just looked around. It's like, okay, we have this video game and it's like a little microphone connect to a USB cord. And I was like, I'll plug this into the computer and see if it works. And it did. So I was like, perfect. I can record myself now. I have a microphone. I didn't know that like, what do I have now? Like a C414 AKG microphone because I watched this podcast where one of like a guy who had vocal engineered for Drake was like, "Oh yeah, if I want to," and like I watched, I got this book of interviews with like sound engineers, and I every time they mentioned a piece of gear, I would highlight it and write it on a piece of paper and make a tally. And this is the microphone that came up the most amongst the most sound engineers. So I was like, okay, this will be the best. And like, it's a freaking great microphone. If anyone's into music and they want a good like all-around vocal microphone, it's like I don't think I'll ever need another one.
What's it called again? Just for people listening, what's it called?
The brand is AKG, and the number is it's a C414.
Okay.
Yeah, and so but at the time I didn't know that world even existed. Like I didn't know how you could even I didn't even know how to burn a CD like I was a kid. So I was just like I want to record something. I'll use this microphone. And so I didn't get caught in that whole like distraction storm that is so easy to get caught in. And it's like so yeah, that's basically the whole story is I just wanted to record. I found that microphone and went for it and started recording little songs and little demos. And now like you'd be better off to record through your iPhone now. iPhone speakers actually are like pretty bomb. Honestly, unless you have like $500 to spend on a microphone to get up to a certain level, I would say you're probably better off to save up and just record through your iPhone, whether it's music or podcast or whatever right now. That'd be like unless you want to go the like the SM57 route, which is like those like little I've got one of those too. And they're like $100 a pop and they're super good. But anyways,
I love how we just went from heroin use to microphones. What will we talk about next? No one knows. Cowboy Cole.
I'm really put off my rocker today. I feel like every time you guys ask a question, I just like tell a different side story, and you guys are like, "All right, that's good enough." Like,
We love that,
man.
man.
I knew this was going to be.
Is all about.
and then I'm
dude.
like,
Yeah.
"Crap, I really did not answer the question."
No, you did, man. You did. This is how we feel. I knew we were going to get along
terrible.
just perfectly here. So we're happy to have you on. Cole, go ahead, shoot.
So I want to talk a little bit about influence for the music. Tell me what comes to your mind when I say, just out for a rip, are you, bud?
um, Absolutely, Shark Tank.
That was a legendary
course,
song
man.
when it dropped, bro.
You know what? I've reached out to them and I feel like they've sort of gone inactive because I haven't been able to get a hold of them. I got one person's like to say, "Oh yeah, I was like I messaged their official email and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't really use this one anymore. Message this email." And then I think it was just like another dead end. I want to create a cover of that song. Maybe I can poke the bear out of because like it's legal to do a cover. You just pay like the distribution, like they get the writing credits or whatever and the royalties for that. And then yeah, I'd love to revamp that. And then honestly, what comes to mind is what was it Letterkenny, like their original like Go Cake Rocks Bud, Hockey Boys versus Farmers versus Hockey Boys. I think is like the original video that sort of started Letterkenny and Shoresy and all of that. And that video was so massive when I was in high school. Like just kick rocks, bud, kick rocks, bud was like it was one of those moments where you know, the internet was slower back then. You could spend a nice like 3 or 4 months with a catchphrase before you had to memorize the new like slang term that was just
Man,
Yeah,
coming
that's
up
the
imagine
every
truth,
kids
ain't
in the
it?
playground today. Like, how do you stay on top of all this, right? Like, it's every hour there's something new coming out.
yeah. And
Bro,
they're
I'm
so
still trying to get
self-aware
fetch
too. Like
across.
like they as soon as something gets played out, they're like making fun of it. They're like it's all sort of bathed in this like satirical, like not taking themselves too seriously. Like
Yeah.
kids nowadays are on another level. It's kind of cool.
It is cool, man. They're the healthiest like generation is going to be these new kids. Like beer companies are worried. Like they don't drink anymore. Like they're all healthy. They
Bars are
drink waters
yeah,
and don't do
yeah,
drugs. It's like
vape
it's quite
company.
sad. But you brought a point that was really interesting to me, which is you're trying to get the rights to cover the song. How does it work? I've often wondered this. When you do all these parodies, have you ever run into trouble? What's the legality
Mhm.
behind it all?
Parodies are actually protected, which for I you talked about like using your 15 minutes of fame. When I first came out, I was like, "Oh crap, I can't release any of these because I like they're other people's songs." But
Right.
I've learned now I can remake the instrumental. So it's all like my original sounds, but if I'm just borrowing ideas, then the parody laws actually protect on that. So
No
you can't
way.
just like steal someone's like if someone recorded themselves playing guitar and you sing over it, well, that's theirs. Like that's their recording. But if you re-record everything, then you're good.
And you can you monetize that?
Yep.
Wow, even if it sounds
Huge.
exactly like the song. Like
Yes.
the
Like
wow,
like
that's
Weird
In the
awesome.
Al.
wrong
Like I
business.
think Weird Al is the best example. Like Weird
Right.
Al Yankovic, like he can just you'll notice all his instrumentals are re-recorded and he's good.
Wow, that's something I had no idea about. Did you know about that, Cole?
No, that's a pretty cool little life hack right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for all you kids out there that want to make content, don't know what to make, like there it is in
Dude,
front of you. And speaking of making content, I want to put you on the spot right now in the hot seat. Cole and I want to collab with you. We
Oh,
want to do a should have been a cowboy parody.
nice.
yeah.
I love Toby Keith. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace. He was one of the greatest, right? So
Yeah.
let's get over to the ranch, get those
Hmm.
heifers out, and record a good old should have been a cowboy Canadian version.
Yeah.
What would it be? Should have been a
I know.
Should have
I
been
got.
a hoser.
that's the obvious one for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Because I mean, it would if you want to go that route, like it'll come together super easy. Like
Right?
yeah.
Maybe your mom just like went across the border right when you're about to be born, so you were actually born in Montana, but you should have been
Should
a
have learned
hoser.
to wheel and snipe.
Yeah.
There we go. See?
Okay. Someone writing this shit?
No, if you guys are you guys like into music sort of thing? Like
Oh,
Oh, dude.
100%. I got
was
to track
literally
out.
I was just singing a song that I wrote, a remix
good.
to Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, but called Pay Window, because as a team roper, you want to win and go to the pay window. So, yeah, like I literally was singing that to Felipe
This
before
guy's
you'd
got
come
it
on
written
here.
already. He's got his own parody written. So yeah, I think we should definitely let this idea grow because I think it'd be
Hmm.
funny. It'd be awesome to jump in on you, jump in with you. But this is
I'm,
something
I'm,
I
I'm in-
wanted I wanted to ask you because I love this. I love this outlook you have on life. You know, you said on a recent post of yours, your life is exactly in the palm of your hands, and I believe in that so much, man. I meet so many people that for whatever reason, you know, like they just make excuses, right? Like, oh, I'm not big enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough money, yada yada yada. And you show us that that's the fact. Like the reins are in your hands. You're leading that horse. You take it wherever you want it to go, and it's your work that's going to separate you, your passion, your drive, and how much you're willing to put into it. So, talk to us a little bit about that. Like, did you ever imagine you'd reach this kind of success in your life being from Alberta? Like, and
yeah.
how much of that is actually true that your life is in the palm of your hands.
I feel like any like sort of apprehensiveness or doubt that I had towards succeeding was always someone else's voice playing in my head. I feel like deep down, the real me always knew that basically I was going to do this forever and I'll be as successful as I get, but I'm never going to stop. It's kind of like I don't know, like just to put it like in a super like simple, it's like I don't think a fish wonders how far they're going to swim. They're just like, I'm a fish. Like, you know, it's just like at a certain point in my life, I was just a musician and I sort of committed to that. I just was like, I'm a songwriter. I want to write songs. It's what I want to do. If I have to like, if honestly, if I have to live in my parents' basement and be a failure, like I'm just gonna ride with that. And if I can go beyond that, then I want that. But I literally want to just do that. That's who I want. That's what I'm going to build my identity around. Because you get to choose your identity. Anyone could like, if I want to shave my head bald and move to Tibet and become a monk, like I can just do that. It's like you get to choose who you want to be. And at a certain point, I was like, you know what? In this life, I just kind of want to just like make music and like, enjoy. There's other like I enjoy going outside a lot, and I enjoy like different like health and philosophy and things like that. Like those are just the things that I picked, and I'm just gonna do that. Like I'm not gonna try not to fight that whenever I'm fighting that, because it does happen. Like it happens all the time where I'm just like, man, like am I doing the wrong thing? I think it's almost always because I've gone sort of external, or I'm taking on other people's like ideas, other people's beliefs about failure and success. Where when I stay tapped into my ideas of failure and success, I'm like, well, I'm doing what I love, so I'm succeeding, and that's it, basically. So it's like I win.
Yeah, putting it into that perspective, right? Like those other people that try to project maybe onto you what you should be doing or what they think you should be doing, but it's just like, man, that's not my reality, and that's okay because I am doing my reality.
And it's I guess another thing I'm just almost thinking about now is like to not be, some people get like, oh, screw everybody, like da da da, but it's like for that person, becoming a musician probably would be failure. Like they're giving you their honest opinion because they care about you. If that person is like, if they're a farmer and they're just like, well, how many cows do you own? Like you need to own more cows. That's how you succeed. Like to them, that's like their metric for success. So
exactly. Everyone's metric is different, right? Like everyone is different, and that's okay. And I think you touched on a point that I think social media really is making it harder and harder because you want to compare yourself to other people. And I find teens and kids doing this a lot, and it's driving a lot of anxiety into people. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he's like, honestly, I deleted Instagram. I only open it on weekends because I found myself just comparing myself. Like, why is that guy got already there in his career and I'm not, or this person's here? And that's not a good thing, because it's like you said, like fish are never going to count how far they're going to swim in their life, because it's just, they're a fish, right? That's what they're meant to do.
I would guess a lot of people have heard that sort of idea, and I wanna do a double back on it, because one thing that I'm super interested in is when people see something that's not working and then they do the opposite, thinking that that is going to make things better. And so there's nothing inherently wrong with comparing yourself to others, because I've seen it come back this other way, where it's sort of like sometimes on social media, men are encouraging themselves to just lock yourself away. Don't look at anyone. Don't have any relationships. Don't focus on anything. Just like go to the gym and build your business.
Like 30-day stuff, like starting tomorrow, December.
Like you need to have this grind set, and it's just
disappear for 30 days.
What's wrong with going online and being like, oh, that person has a lot of followers. I don't care. I don't want that. Like it's sort of like,
but that's what it is. It's like that feeling. It's okay to go on and say, oh my God, it's amazing. Look, he's got 700,000 followers on TikTok. But it's when it's like, why don't I have those followers? When you're comparing themselves, I think you need to compare yourself to you. Like, am I better today than I was yesterday? Awesome. Am I, like you said, am I following my heart? That there's something innate in humans that if you are able to put all the distractions aside and listen to yourself, you will find out what your purpose is. There is something in the bottom of your stomach when you think about it, scares you, and if you really are able to hone in on that, you'll find out, and you'll be able to get after it, like you've done, like Cole's doing, like other people are doing. But I think it's when you it's this constant like bombardment of other people doing their thing, and people thinking, oh my God, should I be doing that? Like, why do they have so many and I have so little? Like, what am I doing wrong? And everyone's timing is different. Like, you know what I mean? Some people will hit it off when they're 50 years old. Some people will hit it off when they're 16 or 14, right? And that's okay. Everyone has their own time. But I think that's what it is. People, they create this like, this like, I don't know what the word is, but they're constantly like looking somewhere else and asking themselves, why am I not there? That pressure, maybe the word I'm looking for
Yeah.
is pressure. But do you ever feel that, like, as a musician, are you always looking at other places as well?
I would say on a fundamental level, you're imagining the past, you're present in the moment, or you're imagining the future. And all of that happens in the present moment.
Yeah.
You can, like, when you're in a memory, you're still in the moment. You're just dissociated from your reality. When you're in the future, I think that anytime you look to the future, you're like activating some sort of anxiety. And so the reality is like someone could hit it off when they're 15, someone could hit it off when they're 60, someone could never, like, whatever hit it off means,
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
could never hit it off.
yeah.
And the reality is that kid who hit it off when they were 15 and got everything that lots of people wanted, they might have had a much more miserable life than the person who, like, made
Justin Bieber.
made small trains in their basement their whole life,
Yeah, 100%.
wanted to show anybody, and they're just like, hell yeah, I did my thing. And
Exactly.
to me, that's kind of where it's like, um, that was just a thought I had, and I
agree.
didn't, yeah. So it's kind of like I think that the good stuff happens in the present moment. No pressure because you're always in the present moment.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, do you want to spend this moment worried about the future or the past,
Yeah.
or do you want to be like just into something?
And that's like living in the moment, being present. I think that's so important, and I think that's what horses award to us, right, Cole?
Yeah.
And I think maybe
Oh.
music to you, like, and the animals as well.
Yeah.
You're in a farm, right?
Animals or like sports. I know for a lot
Yeah.
of guys, physical things, you're just
Yeah.
there, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're not
Yeah.
thinking. I can only imagine when you're riding a horse, like you'd be so engaged, like with the horse, with what you're doing. Like
You
you're
have
not
to be.
thinking.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
you
like,
can't be on your phone. Like, we can do
Yeah.
so many things nowadays where you multitask, you do a million things at once. When you're on a horse, you need to be 110% on the
Yeah.
horse, because that thing is alive and it could kill you. And the only way you're going to get to what you want is if you're totally connected to it. So yeah, 100%. But I think music is got to
Yeah.
have the same, right? The same thing. And I think that's so important, to be present, to not let your mind wander into, tomorrow, or like you said, the past is already gone. So yeah, that's really interesting, buddy. I love that. Love that train of thought.
For me, I think volleyball is a big one too. I played university volleyball, collegiate
Yeah, I
sport.
saw that.
Yeah, you look a little
And,
lanky.
yeah. And like when I was playing middle, especially, the other team's setting up a hit, and it could go to like four different people, sometimes five different people. If the setter's front row and they can dump it over, like there's five different people that are trying to attack the ball at you, and you have to block all of them as the middle. You have to like read and react, and you are not thinking. You're just like, and then something happens and you're just boom and you take off and like you jump as high as you can, you press as hard, and sometimes you get that big shit slam. That's what we call it in volleyball. And you just block someone down super hard and you're just, like it just like there's no, you're just so there, and whatever you
Badass.
find to do that. It's same when I'm making a song and you're just, you're in there like trying to find the right kick drum, boom boom boom, nice, there it is, the bass is right, and then you're just flying.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun, and I think that, like, it's sort of impossible to know where the world's headed. I think people talk a lot about either like a legacy or making the world a better place, or other just like very very good intentioned, forward thinking sort of concepts. And obviously, I think that there's a place for considering those things. But in terms of building your own, like your own reason to be alive, it's like, uh, you could get hit by a car and be paralyzed tomorrow. Like a meteor could crash into the earth. In terms of building towards, like, I don't think we can know for certain that as a species we're actually building towards anything. I think that like the masterpiece is here and we're inside it. Like, I think we are the masterpiece. It's done.
Mhm.
And that we are getting to enjoy and experience what it means to be a human. And that's like a very weird thing, but it's great. And so I try not to get too caught up in, I think I got too caught up in like making a positive impact. And that was actually sort of like a projection of my own insecurities of feeling like if I'm not contributing, then then what's the point of me being around almost?
Yeah.
I think that's a very small town thing of like especially as a man, It's like
Yeah.
if you're a bad employee, then your coworkers and your boss are going to hate you. And it's
Yeah.
sort of like your value is in like how much, you know, like how much work can you get done?
Well, it goes back to those pressures, right? That we built, society builds around. And it's like you said, we just need to. We're here. We're here. So
Yeah.
you need to
Mhm.
give your best every day, and
Yeah.
hopefully, like you doing your thing is going to inspire other people. But you
Oh,
don't need to
always,
feel that
sure.
pressure all the time,
Yeah.
right? Like I need to achieve this year. I need to achieve that, or I find that people really overpressure themselves, and then they get into their minds and anxiety, depression, comparing to others. Like it builds into all that.
You know, I haven't been a super religious person my whole life. I've been
You
very like
sound like you have a lot of spirituality. Yeah.
philosophical, spiritual.
Yeah.
Recently, I started because I was like, people always talk about the Bible. I started reading the Bible and I started reading some of the things in there. And there's some really good
Oh,
ideas in the Bible.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. The
really good
greatest book ever written. Yes, sir.
yeah. And shoot, I'm trying to remember exactly what like there was one little idea that I took from it that like you were talking. Oh yeah, it was just like there's a lot of ideas about like taking pressure off yourself with this concept that like God is taking care of everything. Like
Yes.
this is sort of a perfect system set up. And so when you talked about inspiration, it's like, yeah, everything is innately automatically built to be potentially inspiring to somebody
Yeah.
who needs it because there's no
Yeah.
stakes. And so when you sort of like release all of that, like all of that work or whatever onto, and that's where I don't think of God as like a dude in the sky. I think of
Yeah.
when I say God, I think of like the whole universe acting as one sort of continuous mechanism.
Yes, sir. But you believe there's something bigger, and that is the and that
Mhm.
was the is at the core of the Bible. And I
Mhm.
think spirituality, like it doesn't have to be a white guy with a beard sitting in the throne. God
Yeah.
could be anything, you know what I mean? But when you believe there's something bigger, then you're able to exactly think that I don't need to feel pressure because everything's already written by the same hand, and I'm just going through the motions. And if I follow this thing in my heart and in my stomach that tells me to go down this path, everything will work out, and I think we're missing that today. Spirituality is dead as we know it, and that is scary to me. Like people, yeah, come on, who reads the Bible, bro? You're the first person I've heard that's read the Bible this year.
But I feel like I want to say the one thing that I was thinking of before. I wanted to say that I believe that fear and worry are a projection of you believing you need to do more to take care of things, which is actually rooted in arrogance and defiance of God. Because you're saying God isn't powerful enough to take care of my
Right.
problems, so
Yeah,
I need to do it myself.
that's true.
So it is kind of a like when you
And where
realize that,
does
oh
arrogance
crap,
come from?
I'm not like stressed or depressed or whatever. I'm actually arrogant.
Yeah,
Like I actually think that it's all about me and that I
right.
need to take care of everything. And so
And
that means like,
arrogance is not going to search for an answer, right?
yeah,
Arrogance
Yeah.
is not connected to yourself, is not going down the road of spirituality,
It's going to block
self-knowledge.
answers. You're not going to
Yeah,
be present enough around the chaos, and that sucks when everything is so chaotic around us all the time. Everyone has somewhere to be, another job to get done, another sale to make, another bill to pay. But if you
sure.
are able to stand on your own 2 feet, recenter, the answers and the signs will be there when
I
you
want to
need them.
repurpose a quote that I've heard that's like pretty insightful in terms of your spirituality is dead. Sometimes I've heard people say, I know that kindness exists because I am kind, or I know that there is love in this world because I am full of love. So basically, I could be like, maybe I'm the last spiritual person alive, but it's not dead because it's in
Yeah.
me.
yeah,
When you
definitely not dead.
So,
But I do think it's like if
I
we
get what you're
look
saying.
back,
It's a matter of speech. Yeah.
yeah, like I feel like I don't know. I just feel like people could be more spiritual, and it would help a lot. Like I think spirituality is a big part of us being here. We're way more than just bone and flesh, and I think when you look for answers, when you read the Bible, when I think it gives you a moral compass of sorts that we're missing today. We see a lot of crazy shit out there that there's just no moral compass, right? I don't know.
I've got shivers because I've got the exact lesson from the Bible primed. That's like the perfect. This is like the perfect example of what's going on. So they say if you pray, like Jesus is going around, he's like all the leaders in the church are corrupt. They're just performing. They're pretending to be good. They're pretending to be nice, and they're just collecting money from people. They're living it up. They're like the total like religious corruption is everywhere. And Jesus is like, if you pray on the street corner, if you pray in front of people, if you perform your religion, then that will be your reward. But to the person who goes into their room alone and prays to God, God will give you your reward. So that's the thing about spirituality. It's built in. If you perform your spirituality on social media for other people to see, then their validation will be your reward for those prayers. But if you actually pray to God, then God is allowed to give you your rewards. Because the first way, it's like, well, you already got your reward. You got what you wanted. You wanted validation, so God is actually giving you what you wanted. But if you truly want like something else, something bigger out of life, you have to go there and be like, that's actually what I want. I don't want to be seen trying to be good and have people go, yay, yay, you're being good. Good job, everybody. You have to go there and actually ask for the thing. And like the reality is that we always get exactly what we want. God always gives us exactly what we want. It's just a matter of learning how to speak the language of the universe in order to actually know what to ask for.
Yeah.
Um,
Amen, dude.
and so, yeah, and
It got
so
deep.
if you look on social media for someone who is praying genuinely, those it's like kind of like oil and water, where it's like you can't go into somebody's private room and find those people who are really there being like, I just want this good thing for, like, my neighbor, like his wife's giving birth. I just really hope that that pregnancy goes well, or whatever. Someone is just wanting good things for other people, or just a little something for themselves. Like the people who are actually doing that the right way, that's the thing, is they can't be praised. We can't throw flowers on them because they're receiving gifts from God, and nothing that we can give them can ever compare to what they would get from that actual thing. So it's like, yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
need to, yeah, they're getting their true rewards, and they're 1,000 miles ahead of us on another level.
Very
That's
good.
awesome, man. I love that. I love how deep we got in this podcast, boys.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And I
that
love
shit.
that you're reading the Bible and getting, deeper into your spirituality. I can't hit that button more. If you're listening to this podcast, like, I know when life's easy, we live in Canada, the US, wherever you're listening from, sometimes things get a little easier, and it's easy to forget that there's something bigger out there. So please explore your spirituality. I want to switch it up here a little bit. We're getting to the end of the podcast, but I saw one of your latest posts that you were kicked out of a show last year. I want you to see if you can explain this better. Maybe you can't name the actual show. You were in a contest with your songs. Can we talk about this?
There's nothing keeping me from talking about everything.
Okay, so
And
tell us what happened and
think
what
it's
was
long
the
enough,
contest.
So basically, there was this big contest for artists put on. I'll think about if like how many names I want to name and stuff, because like there was organizations involved, but then there was actually like one big main artist who like specifically was the face of it.
Okay.
And basically, it was just like make a little page for what you want to use the money for your artistic endeavor, and then everyone will vote, and whoever gets the most votes is going to get the top prize. And then there's like a bunch of, it's like second, third, like all the way down to 28th place prizes. But first place was 50 grand. Then I think it was 20, and then like 8, 10K prizes, and then a bunch of 5K prizes. It was big money on the line.
Yeah, big money.
And I made a page and I went ham. So I get my fans to add me on Snapchat. I've got 4 Snapchat accounts now, because you can have a max of, I forget if it's 6 or 8,000 fans. I filled 3 of those up.
What?
Phil,
I thought Snapchat was dead. Like, what's going on in Snapchat?
Oh man. Snapchat is like, I actually talked to my younger cousin a few years ago, like when I was first getting into it, and I was like, what are people on? Like, what are they using? What, because I got an Instagram account deleted. It got like hacked and deleted. And I was like, okay, I don't own these platforms. I don't own my audience. I need to figure something out. So I got on Snapchat. I started saying, everyone add me back on Snapchat. And so I've got all these fans added on Snapchat. And then I just started messaging people one by one. I'm in this contest. Like for weeks straight, I live streamed it on TikTok the whole time, because I knew in the back of my mind, this is like some like company from LA, and like honestly the people who ended up winning it were friends. We like I went into their social media. They were all following each other. I got
No.
I got booted from the contest because I was this person. I don't think they wanted too many people to know about this contest. They got some sponsors who ran like some Bitcoin company to promote
Wow.
this, and this dude like was just like, yeah, I'm gonna run this contest and you know like promote art or whatever. Meanwhile, like people he knows are all like in the top spots.
Wow.
They literally commenting on each other's posts on Instagram, like buddies, like they've worked together. And so I, the Canadian dude, come out of nowhere and just like embarrass all these like try hard we talked about people who care so much about the aesthetic and wanting to get like all these LA people who moved to LA and like, oh yeah, I've worked with, I've worked with little poopity scoopity. So oh yeah, I'm really
I love little boopity scoopity.
Meanwhile, there's me who's just like making songs that are actually entertaining, and I'm like
Yeah.
building an audience. I'm not just like deriding to try to get to the top of this little social like it literally feels like high school. Like I got a glimpse into their world. I'm just like, oh, it's so disgusting.
Oh, have
And,
to take a
and
shower after. But so
yeah,
wait, so you build this huge like you're in first, basically you're gonna win.
I'm crushing the contest because I'm
Yeah.
just and 3 days from the end, just boom, I'm off the leaderboard.
But what did he say? Just like what was the reasoning?
They put out some generic statement to the public about how people were using bots and to submit multiple votes, even though you had to like log in with a
Wow.
unique email. Like, so they were claiming that it was
The
just
Russians were helping you? Little Poutine in bed with Putin.
and
Little
yeah, the
Putin.
Russians rigged the election. No,
Lil Putin. That'd be a good name. Lil Putin? Come
Lil
on.
Putin?
That shit's good.
yeah.
Lil Putin?
I'm about to invade your eardrums.
Sorry. Okay, so they kick you out, they blame it on the bots, and that's it. You have nothing. Did you try talking to them?
And they're like they even in the announcement they're like we're going to review all the evidence carefully and make sure that this is true and we have like all this information, and then literally like 2 days later they announced the winners. They didn't review anything.
Wow. Who are these people? Shout them out. Let's go comment on their page.
I just a minute. I need to ask myself.
He's gonna talk to his lawyer here, deliberate, and
Just
see if
talking
we
to
can-
counsel right now. Trying to
Where
figure
did you
out.
go, Cole? You left there into the mountains.
I had to sneak off there to drain the main vein.
I knew you had to pee. That's so funny.
Mhm.
I see Cole sneaking off into the mountain there. He becomes the background.
I need a little
Here we
sign
go.
I can click on where it's like baño.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Shane's back. He deliberated with his law team.
Yeah, I deliberated with my law team. I'm going to say that the contest was called Some Fund,
Some fun.
SOMEFUND.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave it up to if anybody wants to look into that
Yep.
and see like the people who are involved. We also figured out who like the managers of the artists and all the people
Wow.
were and the people pulling the strings. Like, so I had all this information. I was actually considering like it felt like it was illegal, but I didn't really end up having anything like to some extent if you enter an online contest, you kind of do it at your own risk.
Yeah. Of course.
And
Yeah.
like it's hard to say that like that like I know how valuable my audience is, and so I felt like asking my audience to
Yeah.
support me in this, and then it turned out that it was like they submitted their email to some company who just like got their email address and like it felt like I didn't do my research. Like I'm a little bit protective of like my audience. I will not advertise for gambling. I will not advertise for like alcohol or drugs. I will not do like I just don't promote that stuff. I know that like they're I it's not to say that I think that you need to have total abstinence from those things. It's just that I know that in my audience demographics, a good portion of them are under 18
Yes,
and
sir.
like I don't want them to think because a lot of them see me as a parasocial bonding's a real thing. They see me smile, they see me laugh, they think this guy seems friendly, he must be trustworthy. But like
100%.
not every um that not everyone out here has your best interest in mind. So like I care a lot about what I expose my audience to, and I think that was the hardest thing for me was feeling like I let my audience down, and that really bothered me for a long time. And so at the end of the day, I would have loved to have 50 grand and have this renovation done 8 months ago. But the way it was, I did the demolition myself. I replumbed my house. I learned how to, I Googled plumbing and I
That's
learned how
awesome.
to like fix all the leaks. I laid down all this new flooring myself. Nothing, there's no mistakes. So, yeah,
You
some
got
fun.
her done. You got her done like a good Canadian with the
Yeah,
50K or
yeah.
without the 50K with the mic. What was it? Was
With the rock band mic or with the new, yeah.
exactly with the
And
$500
With the
mic,
new
baby.
AKG.
this is another place where that sort of like arrogance comes out or whatever of like a secretly being in defiance to God and you don't even know you are. I have total faith that those people will get exactly what they want out of life. And
Karma.
and I know that all their dreams will come true and they'll get exactly what they want. And because I know that they have wicked dreams, I know that they will get wicked that their wicked dreams will come true and they will get to experience exactly what they want. And
Yes,
I am
sir.
going to be here making music in my studio, trying to remember to meditate and eat healthy and shut off my friggin' alarms. Just keep going off.
No, that's all good,
Yeah.
dude. You
I try to not like there's a time where you have to stand up for yourself and do what's right and like be the arm of justice. But for some reason right now I feel like I just wanna not have my energy linked to them because I feel like they're gross. They disgust me and it's an oil and water thing. I don't want to be
Mhm.
in their I don't want to be in their
It's
world.
not worth your energy, your time. You got way bigger
yeah,
things to do.
you're
But
moved on
God, it
doing
feels
cool
good
things.
to
Yeah.
put people on blast, though, doesn't it? Like,
oh, it's
why is
amazing.
that? Why does it feel so good to get like? It's not like I want to, but at the same time, I'm just like, nah. I guess I'm grateful that people care. I
Yeah,
think that that's the thing.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
think I actually want to put them on blast. It's just like when people are like, "You were treated badly." I'm sorry. I'm just like, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. When I read about that, I'm like, oh my god, it made me so upset, right? Because we know how hard it is to come into money like that, and you could have invested towards your business, to your studio, and anyways, I'm glad you have that outlook on it, and I totally believe what you said. Karma is a bitch. What you put out there, where energy comes back to you, and all you're doing is putting out good energy, making people happy, bringing a bit of light in this tempestuous time that we lived, called the 21st century. But to end every episode of Shipping a Cowboy, we ask a question that's very dear to our hearts. Cowboy Cole, would you like to ask the last question of the pod today to Shane here?
I will do the honors. Our last question for you is, what kind of cowboy would you be if you weren't a Canadian rapper, if you were a cowboy?
I'm under
Oh,
dress.
Oh, he's going to deliberate
oh,
again
he's
with his
going for another wardrobe change here.
legal team. Oh,
What?
damn.
This does not
Wow.
fit me very well.
That
It's
is
a little small.
amazing.
This is like the most like alcoholic townsfolk cowboy. Like this is like in the movie they walking like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
It's
Get
just
out of
like
here, Judd. You're drunk again.
just not a good guy would wear this cowboy hat. Like
Oh,
what type
dear.
of cowboy would I be? Um, you know what? I could answer that a lot of ways. Being a sheep shepherd is in my family. My grandpa and like before them, they were shepherds. And I there's this like call of this appeal of just being out on rolling plains with a bunch
Yep.
of sheep, and you just got a few dogs with you, and you're just making sure no coyotes or wolves come after them, and you're just basically sitting there, just like a little cowboy monk of some sort. Like I think that if I was born into that in that era, I think I could have really enjoyed being a shepherd and just sort of like just watching, listening to the wind kind of through the that would have been
Hey,
dope.
I just got an idea. Little Shepherd.
Little
Oh,
shepherd.
Come on. How many rapper names did we come up with during this episode? I'm gonna have to listen back and count them. Shane, you're the best, buddy. Young Poutine, Ogr Scintilla. The guy is unbelievable. Thank you for making the time to chat with us. Continue bringing happiness to people. Continue making that music because we love it. And should have been a cowboy. Are we gonna do it?
Could have been a hoser.
All right, coming
There
soon.
we go.
Feeling snipe.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Doing riding my moose on the tundra. Something
Oh,
white kind of rhymes. I don't know.
Yeah.
bro, you're just
We're
writing
off
it. You
to a
need
good
to.
start.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, coming soon. You're gonna get that song because we're gonna make it happen. Are you around this month here in Alberta?
Yep.
Okay, Cole's coming back, so maybe we should chat and
Mhm.
see if we can all get together and do some fun stuff.
That'd be sick.
That sounds
All
good.
right, buddy. Have a great day.
See ya.
Wow, dude, Shane, he right from Oyen. Man, if you've ever been to Oyen, you know how hick it is over there. So it's cool to see a small town guy like that getting as massive of a reach as he is.
Yeah, man. Isn't that awesome? Like the internet is unbelievable. If you feel like you can't do it, if you feel like you're too small, if you feel like you're too big of a hick after listening to this, you better have put all those thoughts out of your mind and let's get after it. Let's get
Yeah.
after it because I think Shane just gave us a masterclass. And if you want to do it, doesn't matter if you got to live in your parents' basement. Doesn't matter if people are going to call you crazy. If you want it bad enough and you love what you do and you're not doing it for the money or the fame or for whatever else, the gold buckles, you're doing it because you love it. You love the journey. Then, man,
Mhm.
sky's the limit.
Find that niche, find what it is you love to do. He
Yeah.
loves making music and writing songs. And then he dialed it in even more. Well, I'm
Yep.
Canadian. I'm from a hick town. I can literally write
Exactly.
music about what I deal with, what we're all dealing with. Like he said, you look outside, it's cold. Everybody's
Yeah.
cold. Write a song about how shitty it is being cold. People will connect, man. You never
Exactly.
know where it's going to go. So yeah, you're right. That
Exactly.
was a masterclass in that.
And another lesson is work with what you have, man. The guy was recording his first songs off a mic from a video game. Like that's insane. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I love that. I really want to deconstruct people's minds about those ideas that you need to have the best stuff to do anything, right? The best rope, the best horse. Who cares? Grab an old horse, make
Yep.
it happen. It's all about you. And if you're at the right place at the right time, you will be given another horse by the universe, and you'll be given a new microphone or whatever it is that's going to help you with your crafts. But it's just about taking that first step, putting the fears aside, putting all those negative voices aside, your own voices, the people around you, and just whatever you have around you, whether it's snow, make it happen, start doing it. And all of a sudden you got 700,000 followers on TikTok. Your songs are blowing up, 5 million streams on Vimeo. His last song, a barn song, like 5 million, man. Those are big numbers.
Life-changing
It's
numbers
life-changing.
right there.
Yeah, all of a sudden, guess what? McDonald's comes knocking, the NHL, Tim Hortons.
Yeah,
It's
real
crazy,
companies
man.
with
It's
real
crazy.
budgets, man. Your life can change
Yeah.
fast. And so, with that being
Yeah.
said, we're going to wrap up this podcast. So now it's time for you to go take that first step, man. And we will see you back next week. Should have been a cowboy.
Kick-a-coo!